اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We welcome you, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, to today's episode on Fiqh al-Sharia, understanding Islamic jurisprudence. In this episode, we are going to talk about two most imperative issues. The first has to do with who is a mujtahid and what are the conditions that must be fulfilled in a mujtahid. And the second has to do with what are the ways and means of obtaining the fatwa, the verdict of a mujtahid. Before we answer the first question, it is very important we differentiate between these two terms. The first term has to do with a marji' and the second has to do with a mujtahid. Who is a mujtahid and who is a marji'? What are the difference between these two terms? With regards to a mujtahid, he is a person who has reached the level of ijtihad, meaning he is the person or the scholar, the jurist, who has the ability to extract, deduce the divine laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the various sources available. For example, through the Quran, through the riwayat, the ahadith of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhimus salam. So if a scholar reaches the level of being able by himself to extract the laws or the divine rulings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the various religious texts, then we are able to understand that he is a mujtahid. So a mujtahid is simply a jurist. And in addition to this, if he comes out to tell us that we can follow and imitate his deduced verdicts and rulings, then he is a marji'. So we understand that each and every marji' is a mujtahid, but not all mujtahids are marji'. Because a person can be a mujtahid, but he can decide that I don't want anybody to imitate my outcomes, my extracted rulings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or from the various sources that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it available to us. So in this case, we understand that the relationship between a marji' and a mujtahid, or the relation between them, is absolute generality and specificity, which is al-umum wal-khusus mutlaqa. In addition to this, someone may ask, how do I identify that this person or that person is a mujtahid? There are three ways of knowing that a person is a mujtahid or he has reached the level of ijtihad. The first has to do with ilmun wujdani, that is a self-certified knowledge. That if I'm a student of knowledge and I become certified that this my teacher or that my teacher is a mujtahid, then in this case, if he comes out and proclaim that you people can imitate me, then in this case I can imitate him because I am certified that this scholar is a mujtahid. And this way is only available to students of knowledge, because if a person is not a student of knowledge, how is he able to identify that this person or that person is a mujtahid? It is only available to students of knowledge. The second way of identifying that this person is a mujtahid is through shahadat adlayn, that is through the certification of two just individuals, but not any people at all. It's through two scholars, two mujtahids who are just. For example, if there are two mujtahids available and they certify that this person is a mujtahid, is also a mujtahid, then if that person says that we should do taqleed or we should imitate him, we can as well imitate that person, because it is certified that he is a mujtahid. And in this case, it is mentioned that even if one mujtahid comes out to certify that this person is a mujtahid, then it is allowed to imitate him as well. Aside this, there is a third way. The third means of identifying a mujtahid is through the shuhra, that it is popular among the students of knowledge, or many students of knowledge, they are of the opinion, or they go with the opinion that this person is a mujtahid. In this case, you can imitate that person. For example, the students in Hausa, they all comes out and they testify that this person, or this our teacher, or that our teacher is a mujtahid. And this way, any person can also be certified that indeed he is a mujtahid. These are the three ways of knowing who a mujtahid is. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, after knowing and understanding the ways of identifying a mujtahid, there is this question that pops up itself. What are the conditions that must be fulfilled in a jurist before he becomes a mujtahid? After knowing that knowledge is a necessary condition, there are other several conditions that must be fulfilled as well. For example, he must be a Muslim, Shi'i, meaning he should not be from the other sect. He must be sane, meaning he should not be a lunatic, he should not be insane. He must be a baligh, he must reach the age of puberty, and we understand the age of puberty in Islam, that is, a male child must be 14 years and above. That is through the lunar calendar. And he must as well be of a legitimate birth, and he should as well be adil, that is just. But the question is, what are the conditions, or how do I know that this person or this mujtahid is a just individual? There are three ways of knowing this condition, whether it is fulfilled in this mujtahid or that mujtahid. Firstly, through ilm al-wujdani, that I know by myself, or a person is aware that this person, this mujtahid, is a just individual. And the next condition, or the next way of knowing that this mujtahid is a just, is through shahadat adlain, that through two just mujtahid, or two just individuals certifying that, or bearing witness that this person is a mujtahid. And the third is husn al-zahir, that is physically appearance. His physical appearance, or his apparent appearance, shows that he is a just individual. And this, we are able to know that, for example, how do I know that his husn al-zahir, or his physical appearance, tells us that he is a just individual? We are able to know this if, for example, we go to his community, or we go to wherever he lives, where he teaches, or any place that he resides, and we ask the people around his area, how do you see this person? Immediately they tell you he's a good individual, he's having good character, he's having good conduct. Then in this case, we are able to understand that indeed he is adil, he is just. So we understand that adala can be identified through three means: through a person being certified by himself, or through two people bearing witness that he is just, and through husn al-zahir, that is the physical appearance that denotes or demonstrates that this person is indeed a just individual. Aside that, these conditions that are mentioned, there are other conditions that must be fulfilled as well. He must be a male if he is a marja' taqleed. A marja' taqleed, there is this condition that he must be living, he must be alive, which means you cannot imitate someone who is dead. There are other conditions that must be fulfilled as well. That is, he must be a male but not a female. And this condition is through specified evidence that denotes this condition. And there are other conditions as well that must be fulfilled. But these are the main conditions that must be fulfilled in a marja' taqleed and a mujtahid. In addition to it, he must be taqi, that is pious. He must possess piety. He must be a person who is pious. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, in relation to the second most important issue, that is, what are the ways of obtaining the verdict of a mujtahid? There are four main ways that are mentioned. The first has to do with sitting in front of the mujtahid and hearing the verdict by himself. The second is by hearing the verdicts from two just individuals. And the third way is by hearing a scholar telling you that this is the verdict of this and that mujtahid or marja' taqleed. For example, a scholar just told you that this is the verdict of Imam al-Khamenei or Sayyid al-Sistani on this issue. And in this case, if you become certified with what the scholar told you, then you can accept that verdict. And the fourth way is by reading the book of that mujtahid by himself, if he permitted that you can use that book. For example, Sayyid Sistani is having a book that is Minhaj al-Salihin. Imam al-Khamenei recently just released a book on fatwa that is Risalat al-Salat wa-Sawm, on Salat wa-Sawm. And these two books, they have permitted, as well as their other maraja, they have permitted their followers to imitate them and to read the book, understand and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the verdicts or the outcome that it is in those books. So these are the four ways of obtaining the verdict of a mujtahid. And this brings us to the end of this episode. Inshallah, in the subsequent episodes, we'll be talking about other most important issues as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.